Part 2 of the Ahlahayam, All Powers, Black Superman, Yasharahla.
Suicide and jumping off of a very tall building, it ended up being that they both fell off, the suicidal man dying, but Harvey having just a few scratches. This is the trigger that prompted his vast mental powers to emerge. Harvey got the location of Nightwing's headquarters and went there looking for answers about how he became so powerful. After scanning Nightwing's computer bases with his mind, he found what he was looking for and even more. He then quickly and easily took control of the Nightwing organization. And in addition to this, he had learned the instructions on how to create the Miracle solution, actually perfecting the process and creating his own version called the Miracle Pill. The only one that is known that he gave this to was his wife, Lola Dent. And although it seemed as if she didn't survive the process, she did, but she was just in hiding while she was developing her powers. The biggest threat and supervillain of Earth-9 at this time was the Ultrahumanite. And during one massive assault, he had knocked out the power of the entire planet and defeated all the armies. Despite this strength of the Ultrahumanite, the Superman actually beat him easily with a display of raw power. Sometime after this, the Superman went to the UN headquarters and announced that he'd be running the planet. Now this is when it gets interesting, because he truly thought that the best way to take care of the planet was to take away liberties and to take on sole control of everything on it. But due to this dictatorship, many of the heroes of Earth-9 tried to challenge him. This is when the Superman displayed that he didn't mind jailing them, subjecting them to telepathic interrogations, or in some cases even killing them. At this point, he was so powerful that nobody could challenge his authority. Actions like these are what made his wife, Lola Dent, no longer want to be with him, and she left. This is when Harvey took on Power Girl as his new wife. Now, during an event where visitors from New Earth came to visit Earth-9, the Superman captured and read the mind of that world's Green Lantern. He learned that his world had many different powerful supervillains and heroes as well, and due to this, he felt that that world was a threat, and then went there to explore it. Upon his arrival, he found that that world was very similar to his own before he had solved the problems of his governments. During this exploration is when he met someone who called himself Superman, who we know as Clark Kent. Harvey immediately identified him as one of the most powerful caretakers of this world and blamed him for the prolonged state of destruction that the planet had been in. Harvey also learned that the other Superman, Clark Kent, although he had a similar name, was nowhere near close to as powerful as he was. The Superman made very quick work of Superman, and with the help of Power Girl and Orion, he went around the world and bypassed all their defenses and captured all the world's leaders. While going about his plans to take rule over this Earth, he actually recruited an army of native supervillains, and also unleashed the Ultrahumanite on the planet as well. You see, he had not destroyed him in his battle on the moon of Earth-9, but had merely contained and conditioned him. When the Superman was near victory, the villains ended up turning on him, and in addition to this, Power Girl and Orion had been defeated, and Batman sacrificed himself to beat Ultrahumanite. This left Harvey on his own. This is when he had a final fight for all the chips with Superman Clark Kent. And even then it looked like he was going to win, because at this point he simply stopped Superman's heart from beating and his lungs from functioning. But while Clark was in pain and near death on the ground, before Harvey could do anything else to him, he was freed from Harvey's control by the ex-wife, Lola Dent. She boldly said that she couldn't let him institute his tyrannical rule on yet another planet. While Harvey was distracted and confused by this, Clark used the opportunity to knock him out. The Green Lantern from his own world then locked him, Power Girl, the Ultrahumanite, and Orion in a gateway that the Ultrahumanite had been locked in. This is the last we've seen of the Superman, and his cryptic last words are, and I quote, "I only wanted to help." Now for his powers and abilities and his influence on the DC universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Tangent Superman a rating of 9, which is an epic rating. I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be covering Blue Marvel. He made his first appearance in Atom, Legend of the Blue Marvel, issue number 1 in November of 2008. His real name is Adam Bernard Brashear, and he stands 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighs 230 pounds, having brown eyes and black hair with some gray highlights. Now, he gained his powers as a result of being mutated by radiation that came from the unstable event horizon of the negative zone. This incident caused him to become one of the strongest beings in the Marvel Universe. He has a vast array of powers and abilities, and to start off with, he has antimatter manipulation. He's virtually an antimatter generator and reactor. Now keep in mind that 1 gram of antimatter contains the same amount of energy as the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. Blue Marvel can release concussion beams, concussive force bolts, stun bolts, optic blasts, energy constructs, energy-enhanced punches, energy pulses, and energy shields. Another power of Blue Marvel is that he can attain antimatter stabilization. He himself states that he is a, and I quote, stable antimatter reactor, end quote. But what he appears to do is actually channel exotic particles generated by a stable event horizon. This is interesting because, as we all know, antimatter is extremely unstable, and whenever it comes into contact with normal matter, it results in the release of 100% pure explosive energy. But because of this very unique ability, he can actually prevent this occurrence from happening. In addition to being able to make these matter-antimatter constructs, and to enable the coexistence of matter and antimatter beings, Blue Marvel's strength is also known to be incalculable. His vast superhuman strength is easily in the same league as Sentry, Hulk, and Thor. And it's noted that he has the potential to be the most powerful hero on Earth, period. He's been shown easily lifting the American warship Enterprise that weighs over 93,000 tons, but he's even capable of far greater feats of strength. This is shown when he, with minimal effort, moved a meteor that was the size of Arkansas. Even the Watcher has stated that Blue Marvel could have split the moon in two with one punch. Prince Namor has said that only the Hulk and Thor have hit him as hard, and Blue Marvel has been shown to fight entire groups like the Avengers and even go one-on-one with Sentry, where he knocked them unconscious and into orbit in one single punch. In this particular battle, they pretty much fought to a standstill, and this is after Blue Marvel had been weakened by fighting the Avengers, Wonder Man, Miss Marvel, Ares, and Iron Man all at the same time. Blue Marvel has also engaged in and subdued King Hyperion. Now keep in mind that King Hyperion is an alternate version of Hyperion, and he's far more powerful than any other incarnations of the character. This King Hyperion was able to kill alternate versions of Magneto, the Hulk, Wolverine, Thor, as well as being able to engage 2 versions of himself at the same time. Now when you put all this into perspective, you realize how powerful Blue Marvel is. The upper limits of his strength are really truly unknown, but to keep it simple, it likely equals or exceeds the likes of Enraged Hulk and Sentry. Now Blue Marvel is also nigh invulnerable, similar to Sentry, and he has no true physical weaknesses. He can easily take huge impact forces, high caliber weapons, exposure to temperature and pressure extremes. At one point he's shown to take a nuclear detonation at point blank range and have no injuries. He also has a type of healing factor because despite his near invulnerability, it is possible in the slightest way to injure him. But if he's injured, he could quickly heal and it's no issue at all for him. In addition to this, he has enhanced reflexes, agility, and stamina, and he's self-sustaining. He can live in harsh environments without any air, food, or water, and he's able to live in the deepest parts of the ocean and without any assistance in deep space. To go on, he has superhuman speed and senses. And he can fly by manipulating the gravitons around him and magnetic fields, and he can control the absolute molecular movement of his body. Blue Marvel also exhibits energy manipulation, molecular manipulation, and light generation, being able to create and direct his own light. He ages at a far slower rate than normal humans, and despite being very old, he still seems at his physical prime. And in addition to all of this, although it may seem like a side note, he is known as having a genius-level intellect, having a PhD in theoretical physics and a Bachelor's of Science degree in electrical engineering from Cornell. Now, just a small piece of his backstory is that Adam Brashear was a young man who was serving his country in the Marines. Now, when he attained and discovered his superpowers, he made a secret identity and started to protect his country as the Blue Marvel. For years and years, he served in this fashion, and he was one of the most popular heroes of his time. Yet his secret was that he was actually an African American, a fact that the government knew but the general population didn't.